Hello friends. Well, my kitchen and I are a pretty big mess around here, but it's okay because I'm doing something very important. You know, if you're alive in the United States, you probably have heard that there's a supposed meat shortage. And you might be seeing pictures of prices of meat on Facebook or something that are astronomical that we have never seen before. We don't know if this is going to be the new way it is or if this is only temporary. We don't know what the future holds, whether this is all going to pass or if it's going to continue as it is and maybe even get worse. And so we have decided that we wanted to find a bargain on meat, and we did. And I went to an Amish store over by where I live, and they always carry meat. I've never paid a whole lot of attention to it, but I went over there with the purpose of seeing what they had for meat. And I got some really good deals, and I'm going to show you what I got especially good, and I'm getting it canned is what I'm going to do. It was frozen cooked beef, and I'm canning it all. Well, this is my setup, and this is part of the meat that we got. It's roast beef, top round. It's like what they sell at delis. I mean, this is high dollar meat. They slice it and make sandwiches at delis. I got this for $2 a pound. It's fully cooked, and it does have like 30% juices in it or solution in it. I figure that that's kind of a trade-off with the cooking. Whenever you buy raw meat, you probably lose at least 30% just by cooking it and the juices that run off of it. So what I've been doing is opening this up. Now this, you can see this is kind of juicy in there, and it's really red juice, but I don't think that it's blood. I think that it's some other kind of solution that they put in there, and I'm just drain that out. And then I have this really, really nice piece of meat. It's super lean. It's not overcooked by any means. It is kind of rare looking, but it's very tender and wonderful. I'm putting it in wide mouth jars. That's the way I like to can meat. I actually had to buy some wide mouth jars to do this. So what I'm going to do is cut it across here and have a big piece right there that is about the width that I could put into the jars. See, there's one part of it, the top part. And then I've got this piece right here that's such a nice piece of meat. And sometimes I just have to kind of guess. I'm going to cut that end off. And then I'm going to try to judge the width of this that would go into a jar. So I'm going to go there. Now, I know this is too tall to go for a jar, but I'm going to put it in the jar and see where I end up. See, it's too tall. So I'm going to take it back out just for the demonstration here. I'll take it back out. I'm going to cut across there so that I feel like it will fit into the jar. And then I'm just going to push that right back down in there. That's a nice chunk of meat. It's plenty for old guy and me to eat at any one meal. And what I can do, if I know my whole thing is too tall, I can cut it like this across. And then I have a bigger piece of meat instead of a bunch of small pieces. Do another one. Now it doesn't matter if I'm getting the edges of the jar messy, because I'll be wiping them off. One more like that. This one's a little smaller, so I'm probably going to take a piece like that and lay it down on top of there. See, that's really a lot of meat in there. I'm figuring that it's somewhere around 12 ounces fully cooked meat. Now, you know, it's different with raw meat and fully cooked meat, so the weight and the value of the protein in the meat. So I'm going to take that and put both of those, I hope. It's a pretty tight fit, but that's going to go And then I don't know if what I have left here is going to go. Let's see, how would I put that down in there? Maybe like that. Then I have my juices and a ladle. I'm going to put one ladle of these juices. Now this isn't blood. I know it looks like blood, but I'm convinced it's not blood. This is all cooked and ready to eat, so I know it's just not red dripping blood. It's just the red juices. Next I'll just take a clean, wet, damp, however you want to call it, wrung out cloth, and I'm going to wipe the edges down really well. I'm not getting much, but I'm getting a little bit. You don't want anything along the top edge of that jar to stop a seal. I'm going to rinse this out and I'm going to do it again. Okay, now I feel like there's nothing on the top of that jar that's going to stop my lids from sealing. I've got the lids in here. Let me put some warm water. And then all I need to do is set a lid on top of each one of those. Canning meat is just like the easiest thing, and it's got so much value to it because it's shelf stable for a long time. Putting the rings on to hold the lids down, and after I get these all tightened up, and I need 8 jars. I'm running 2 canners here. I went and dug this one out of storage in one of our buildings, and about 2 years ago I took it to the University Extension and had it tested out, and it tested out good. It looks old and worn out, which it is old, but it's good operational condition, and I can trust that I can, although my gauge was a little bit off, I had to make it go up 1 more pound than what it shows. It says 11 pounds, I have to make it 12 pounds. And then I've got my All-American, I'm running 2 canners. Now I use a glass top stove, which I have to be really careful. I can't just pile on a bunch of weight. So I just can put 1 canner on there at a time. Now what I do is, this canner is ready to go on the stove. It's full of freshly filled jars, and it's all sitting here closed up, ready to go. I've got 12.5 minutes left on this canner, and then what I'll do is set this canner off on this towel and immediately set that canner onto this burner. I'm alternating burners so that I don't use one exclusively and end up burning one of my burners out. I might end up burning both of them out. You know, canning is pretty hard on a stove. And these are jars that are ready to go into here, the tall one. This canner can stack 2 pint jars on top of each other, which is very nice. So that takes care of 18 jars. This one I can only put 8 of these wide mouth pints in here at a time. These are waiting to go into the next batch. I need 16 because I'll be filling this canner next. So I'll be taking those 8 and filling up these the rest of the way and use them. Here are 8 that I took out this morning. The purpose of doing this video is to show you what I'm doing, for one, but also encourage you to go looking for some meat bargains, because they are out there if you just go to the right place. If you live near an Amish store that sells meat, go there and see what they have to offer. Stick it in your freezer and get it canned as you can work on it. We want to get our freezer cleaned out for the most part, because you know, you never know. If you have a freezer full of food, you never know what's going to happen. Your freezer could break, the electricity could go off for an extended period of time. So I try not to let my freezer be full all the time. I like to clean it out by canning the stuff up that's in there. And that's what I'm in the process of doing right now, so I can keep it on the shelf, and it's always shelf stable and ready to eat. So thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next time.